our next
Yes,
guest?
please bring on our next person.
Okay, so from here, guys, we move into a different kind of exploration, going to something even deeper into personal experience. So our next speaker is a best-selling author, spiritual advisor, and educator on UFOs, UAPs, the paranormal, extraterrestrial, non-human intelligences, ascension, and human potentiality. He is certified in a wide range of modalities from coaching to Reiki to Qigong. And as a world-renowned pioneering ET contact experiencer, his work documenting otherworldly contact, whether through photographs and videos and independent eyewitnesses, is easily one of the most extensive in modern times. And he is dedicated to what's helping those seeking spiritual development, self-discovery, connection to spirit guides, soul family, purpose, and finding balance and joy in the earthly experience combined with the God within. And actually, from this mission, he has actually built a new center for spiritual growth and self-mastery in Victoria, Australia, called the Jaya Sanctuary. So you guys should go and check it out because I'm going to. And now we have Peter Slattery here to take us on a guided CE-5 experience alongside with Isha, combining powerful meditation and intention setting to invite direct contact with multidimensional beings. Peter Maxwell Slattery and Isha Patel, you're up.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Pete. So good to see you again.
Likewise, and thank you to everyone that's been a part of this, putting this together. I know there's a lot of work into it, so yeah, bless you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We've had the most amazing day one, Pete, and you are, of course, the finale for our day one, coming in to give us a beautiful experience of CE5. We had a Ross Coulthard earlier on today, and then we've had a bunch of amazing other speakers as well. So I think the audience at this point is probably quite pumped. They're ready to go. They're in high vibes. They've received a few transmissions today. So tell us, what do you have planned for our session?
Well, it's a little bit different. Now, what this is what I call IC, which is initiating contact. To dilute it down, it's what I would reference as an expanded form of CE5. So it is initiating contact, but the difference between other techniques and modalities out there and the way that I go about it is we start off with clearing the space, really heart breathing, but then clearing the space, the environment. As you do that, it's going through a process of initiating that contact and a technique that we're going to go through. But as you get towards the end of this technique is what I call the connecting to your guides technique. The thing is, a lot of times, and it's not having to dig at anyone, but I get called to some of the most haunted locations. I've dealt with stuff that's not so good and stuff that's very enlightening. But because of that, I'm very staunch, we could say, on creating a sacred, safe space. And that is, again, it's done through the heart space. But when we get to actually having phenomena, orbs, bangs, even here last night, we had 20 crafts over the group here. We get orbs just a few feet off the ground. People can all see this themselves. But it's taking it to, all right, great, they're here. Who's communicating with them? Because CE5 in general is, all right, let's contact the bangs, let's bring them in. And I don't say that what I'm doing is summoning, it's inviting. And whether they want to appear and if it's safe to do so and what level they'd like to do so, it's all about us, like from a place of universal peace, love, joy, and bliss, communing and connecting in a way that's best for both or more parties. Because you can get quite a lot of different intelligences appearing when doing this, not just one race or one group, not just extraterrestrials. So that's sort of just a brief outline that I'll be taking everyone through a few different techniques. And as I say, it's not that what I do is the only way or it's my way or the highway. It's giving some tips and tools and use them, don't use it, mix it up, change it, swap it around. But it's what works for the individual. And really, I think the intention is number one, as I saw on with the previous guest as well, 100%. And I know that others have spoke of this, because what most people don't realize is I'm not really sky watching much except at events, which I've been doing this in the public eye for 15 years. The beings will come in the home, whether in orb form or appear in apparition form or physically materialize, but the amount of times with documented witnesses that I go there here and I walk out broad daylight at night and they're there, people are quite surprised when they come here, if it's friends or family like that don't know, I haven't hanged out too much over the years. They think I'm out there sitting out there all day. I don't have the time for it. I just know when they're there.
So they just tell you, so it's like a telepathic contact?
Yeah, well, even with the latest video at the Jaya Sanctuary Australia I uploaded this morning, I actually said with the group and everyone, they all heard, I said they'll be here at 5:55. At 5:55, here
They
comes the
were
ship
there.
straight over
Right.
the group. And this is like, I couldn't tell you how many times I've done that. So it's something where it's not about, showing off this, that, the other. Even when I've done it for television programs, which a lot of the time they won't show that part, they show the crafts, but they won't show this.
Mhm.
It shows that there's communication with myself and that they've got satellite trackers, plane trackers, everything else. And even when the crafts respond to myself or the group, now that's showing, all right, they're responding in real time to me asking them to respond. So it's like, how far do we have to keep going to going, right? Is there communication? How's this happening? And of course, there's more levels and there's more validity that's got to be brought. And we could say more science that will come with this. But it's got to get to the stage of at least giving this a go, because what we're about to do, I actually take most groups through here depending on the workshop. And it's hard to put a percentage, but I would say in most cases when we do this at events, the whole group, about 99 or 90% of the group, not everyone, but around 90%, when they'll give me a time and a direction and the craft will appear. And it's the first time ever doing it.
So when we do this as part of the summit, of course, we're not outside right now. We're indoors and people are watching this on the computer.
Yeah.
What might happen for the viewers as a result of this process you're about to take us through?
A number of things, which I'm sure you're quite well aware of, being established yourself in this. Now, there is something that I say to people with just deciding alone, it doesn't stop there. There can be dream contact. All right.
So maybe
Now,
later, if they watch the video now and then go to bed later on tonight, maybe they could have something?
yeah, well, that happens to people like at the events here. That happens when they even drive home the next day. There's things that can take a bit of time for different factors, I think, that even I'm not aware of in some cases. But when you're doing this, you can have flashing lights, phenomena, eyes closed in a strobing effect, frequency tones happening. What's very predominant, if we look at the psychic senses to clear senses, what I say is, unless you're mainly using a few of them, forget about this just momentarily, because I'm really going to linearize this, which is sort of how I'm known for this, because it's just the way that I operate. I'm not a technical person in general, but what we've got in terms of contact is, let's say, touch sensation, inner vision, and thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Now, whether the beings physically materialize, I see craft, or they're connecting just purely through consciousness, what happens in some cases, depending on the intelligence, because some are better projecting visions inside the head, some can fully materialize. It's a case by case thing. But what's very general, and I'm sure everyone's experienced this, is goosebumps, hair standing up, and temperature changes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as weird as this is going to sound, what I'm going to say now is that sometimes it could be a being meditating on another planet, projecting its consciousness, and its light body, which we've got, some might say the auric field, but it goes into the etheric field. There's different layers to rainbow body. It can be overlapping our light body. And what happens is each being's got their own specific frequency. So let's say you might not fully feel it over you, but let's say your right shoulder's getting hit with energy. Well, if that guide or extraterrestrial or ultra terrestrial or angel came back and you feel that again, 9 times out of 10, that could be the same being. Some beings will hit you in the same area again, but one might be a little bit more intense or a little bit less, which is how you can differentiate. But when that's happening, even with the spirit, let's say at a location where spirits are the same thing, their energy field can be over yours, goosebumps, hair standing up, temperature changes. This is where I say the paranormal and extraterrestrial contact, depending on the intelligence, there's huge crossover from when I've gone to help at haunted locations, or people having abductions that sometimes they weren't having that. It was a haunted home, residual or intelligent hauntings. Or some people that thought it was a haunting, they were actually having ET or multidimensional non-human intelligence contact. All right. So the energy, even recently here, when you feel that happening and it's all over, and there's huge temperature inversions, which we've got all the gadgets for that. I usually will tell the group, let's pull back. And what you'll start to work out is you can actually start to feel the circumference of the craft because it can land on you like a ghost.
Wow.
Right. So this is where it gets crazy that I've been saying this for many years and now people aren't laughing, which is just for an analogy, let's for a moment imagine a flying saucer as an apparition like a ghost. It can land on you in bed or on your group. They can resonate with the pineal gland, tune into that, and all of a sudden you're seeing on board the craft. They can pull you physically on board as you resonate with them. They can pull your consciousness on board or even pull the consciousness and put it into an avatar. All right. But what will happen is usually there might be a very low, subtle whoom, whoom, and a high Tibetan bell ringing bowl sort of sound, or it could be one or the other. Usually it's so deep you feel it going through you. And a lot of people have experienced this with me. That's where I'd say you start to meditate and tune in, but sometimes the beings and even the inside of the craft will start to appear in your peripheral vision to where it will start to materialize in some cases. So goosebumps, hair standing up, temperature changes, thoughts, impressions, ideas, epiphanies, concepts. All right. So this is where the thought component comes in. And of course, visions in the mind's eye. It could even be just purely a color, just to let you know I'm a light being. This is the color that I am, because they've got to meet us the best that they can with where they're at and where we're at as well.
Mhm.
So I know that's a bit of a rant there, Isha, but is it digestible the way that I'm explaining just some
Oh,
of the telltale
absolutely. Well,
things?
I mean, it is for me, but I hope the people watching will get that. Actually,
Yeah.
I've had the experience of laying in bed, being woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning because a craft is coming in. Ashtar's walked out into my bedroom. So I 100% know what you mean. And at that time, oh, my heart was racing so much because I never had that before. I actually almost got scared, you know?
Oh, it
But
takes you
then
aback.
you realize, okay, it's a friendly being, you know, all of that. And so eventually went back to bed. But yeah, I've had quite a few tangible experiences like that as well. So I very much know what you mean. Pete, I'd love to get started. Let's not keep the people waiting any longer. I'm sure people are keen, ready to go. So do we lie
Definitely.
down? Like, how do you want us to be?
I'm not sort of I the main thing is that we just sort of go through a process. As I say, you don't even have to fully do this afterwards. The main thing is that you're comfortable. Sit up, lay down, eyes open, eyes closed. It just depends on how one operates. But
Okay,
yeah,
beautiful. Well, go for it. I'll
let's
give
get
you the
to
floor
it.
now.
All right. So just to start out, I just invite you, you can put your hand over your heart or just set the intention of breathing into the heart and breathing out. I just call this heart breathing. Basically, it's heart math. So just breathe into the heart. Use your imagination, which is creation if you have to. And breathe out of the heart. Just let go of any tension around the eyes, the cheeks, the jaw, the neck. Let it go out through the mouth and relax. And again, breathe into the heart. And breathe out any tension in the shoulders, the arms, the back, the stomach. Let it go out through the breath and just relax. And again, into the heart space. Breathe out of the heart space as you let go of any tension from the hips down to the toes. And just keep breathing in and out of the heart space while going to clearing the space. So I just call upon our guides and higher self and God source creator. We ask that any cords, attachments, implants, parasitic thought forms, blockages, anything in our field or environment that isn't in line with the awakening healing of humanity, the earth, and our missions and journeys and universal peace, as well as contact with those that are in line with the awakening healing of humanity. We ask that it's all dissolved and escorted to its perfect place and to go in peace. Thank you. And from this space, I just invite you to use imagination, which is creation again, that there's an orb of light, a ball of light, any color, above your head. And that from this orb of light, which is a portal to source, beautiful liquid light is pouring from it down through the top of the head, going down through the head, the neck, the torso, down the arms and down the legs, filling you with source energy, which is cleansing and clearing, rectifying, balancing out, and uplifting energies where needed to run at optimal efficiency and in love, joy, and bliss, and compassion, non-judgment, and love. From this space, bring your awareness to the heart space, again, if you've stopped breathing in and out of it. And just use your imagination again, which is creation. With connecting with the core of the heart, you might see a little flickering, spinning light. Use your imagination. Or you might sense energy there, even if you put your hand in the heart space area. And through intention, as you're connecting with it, slowly see this energy or feel it and expand it out to the size of a baseball, to the size of a basketball, and keep expanding it until you're sitting within your orb of light, a ball of light, which within it is the rainbow body, the Merkaba, the tree of life, all geometric templates and mandalas, all frequencies, all aspects, which come from the one consciousness that encompasses all consciousness, God, Source, Creator. And within this orb of light, you are protected. And only your guides and higher self and God, Source, Creator can come into this space to assist with direction and guidance, service to others, abundance, peace, love, and joy, and a balance of mind, body, and spirit, as well as contact with the greater family of man. Bringing the awareness back to the heart space, I invite you to visualize a beam of light from the heart going down through the bottom of the spine and connecting to the core of Mother Earth, going into the earth, into the middle, sending love and gratitude and thanks, but also an invite to even Gaia to connect, and to also beings that are in our frequency and not, that are inner earth intelligences or ultra-terrestrial intelligences that are residing down in Mother Earth herself. Bring the awareness back to the heart space now. And now just visualize and set the intention of another beam of light going from the heart up out the top of the crown of the head, going up into space. And you may want to go above Earth, into the solar system, out of the solar system, out of the Milky Way galaxy, just to where you intuitively feel this can go and where you feel safe with it going. And from this space, put out the thought now to those who are in line with the awakening and healing of humanity, universal peace, and are open to a peaceful dialogue and contact, if it's safe to do so, to connect with your consciousness and awareness in a way that's adaptable and safe for both parties. And just sit in this space for a moment. From this space and this place of awareness, I now invite you to retract that beam of light in space, down into the crown, back into the heart space. And bring back up that beam of light that you connected to Gaia with, Mother Earth. Bring that back up through the bottom of the spine into the heart space with the love and healing and and connection of Gaia. And I invite you to have your hands on your lap with the palms up, or just be aware of your body itself and just take notice of any sensations. Could be a tingling sensation or a slight sensation like somebody's touching you or is in your presence. And from this space, I invite you to project a thought or have purely just a thought, which is, can that intelligence in your presence give you a visual or a description through thought and feeling of what they look like? So project a thought. What do you look like? What's the first thought, feeling, vision that comes back as an answer? The first thing. I'll meet you in the realm of imagination if need be. Project another thought now and invite them to give you the name if they've got one. They may even give you a nickname, a made up name, a tone, a projection of a symbol. What's the first thing that comes through when I ask you, what is their name? Project another thought now and ask them, where are they coming to you from, or where are they from? Whatever's easiest to communicate. And I'm going to give you multiple choice with this. Are they from Earth, inner Earth, our solar system, another star system, or galaxy, or a complete different realm? Where are you feeling that they're coming to you from? Now, just have the next thought, which is the question, is how do they assist you in the human experience? It could be as a guide, through protection, advising. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you ask them, how do they assist you in the human experience? Now ask them, how are they connected to you? Multiple choice again. It could be another aspect of you. It could be a teacher. It could be a guide. It could be part of your soul group or soul family. How do you feel connected to this intelligence? Now, through thought, ask them if there's a specific message that they would like to leave you with or let you know. Is there a specific reason that this guide, out of all guides, whether extraterrestrial or not, that are here to make peaceful contact, is there a specific message for you? What thoughts, ideas, epiphanies, concepts come back when you ask? Specific message for you. And from this space, this awareness, I now invite you to ask them if there's a direction or a time that they can let you know that they'll appear, or a specific way that they can make contact and let you know that this is real, that they're real. Something tangible if that's what you need, but whatever's safe for both parties. And lastly, is there any advice, anything that they'd like to let you know, or guide or assist on or advise on you being the best version of you and playing your part within humanity as we go, not just galactic or extragalactic, but trans-dimensional and reunite with the greater family of man? And when you're ready, only when you're ready, move your fingers, your toes, and slowly open your eyes and come back to the body only when you're ready. And as you're sitting in this space, you can either even just bring yourself back through heart breathing and just stay in the heart space. And I just invite you that even after this event wraps up, if you are continuing this process, to just every now and then bring yourself back to heart breathing. Just breathe in and out of the heart, especially if you're in a group doing this, which brings also coherence to the group.
That was so beautiful. Thank you, Pete, for guiding us through that amazing meditation. And
Thank you.
I'm taking a moment to come back because I was in
No,
it.
that's quite normal. It's quite normal. Yeah.
So sometimes, I like to do the meditation myself, which is always really
Yeah.
nice. I'm like, yep, still just in it right now.
That's all right. No, just saying that as well if you need to. I just want to say as well that with this, why I do it in this way is I've worked with a lot of the top remote viewers and psychics. And what it is that the longer, like we can go on a tangent or a data stream with information coming through. But what happens if you're not getting that and you start probing for things and there's nothing really there, the brain can make things up and we don't want to do that. So my thing is I give basic questions, and if you think about what happens when you meet another human, what happens? You ask them their name. You're already seeing what they look like. You ask them where they're from. In this case, how are they connected to you? Is there any messages? So it's a very linearized thing because this protocol came from me being on board crafts and having contact. That all of I was doing was projecting a thought or having the thought, what thought, feeling, visions were coming back. But in the case of people that are newcomers, after that 10-second mark with most studies, from what I've been aware of, people will start to make stuff up that's a lot of it could be true, but usually it's sort of just a mixed bag. Some of it is, some of it isn't. There can be your own distortions filtering. So I try to go through a process that I ask the questions, what's the first thing that comes through onto the next thing? Because each thought that you would have got, let's say they said you're on the right path. That's a chapter heading through feeling and knowingness, you would have got paragraphs of information. Now, sometimes you can decode that in real time, and it is beyond even needing to explain when it's for you personally. And if you try to explain a 10-second download, it could take 40 minutes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I say, as long as you sort of feel it and get the gist of it, that's what matters. And then on to the next thing, because why? Multidimensional mind and communication is instantaneous. So this doesn't need to be done quickly, but this is where, with the groups that I've been taking out for 15 years, I bring them from a state of that. Let's talk some crap and have some fun, but stay in a state of observation like you're actively meditating. Take notice of temperature changes, sensations on the body, flashes of light, apparitions. Have fun because, like with the many saints, sages, and masters from on and off world that we can also communicate with, even with yourself, I'm sure. Do you want to hang out with people that are fun, laughing, having a good time, or people that are really serious?
Mm.
All right. Now, this is really serious what we're doing, but the mind you seek is the mind that you connect with, as James Gilliland says. And I've been working with him at ECD Ranch for many years, and I think that's a beautiful saying. But it is something where once you can sort of let go of trying to control the outcome, because what people are doing is this. I want it, but I want the source of the land in front of me, and this, that, the other, which I've seen, and I've got photos of the landing marks and everything else. Most people will, in some cases, just not be able to integrate that in a digestible manner if they're coming from that space. A different space they could. So my thing with this is that when we're going through a stage of initiating contact, I believe personally when I've been asked about this, and I'm saying this because I believe this is something that is really beneficial to everyone that's a part of this, is that whether I'm meditating or initiating contact or doing whatever, I set the intention before it that I experience what I need to be the best version of me, to have love in my life and be of service to others. And that is also the litmus test of whether it's positive, negative, or fruitful contact. What's the fruit? What's the general fruit out of what you're doing it and why. Because as you're well aware, every aspect and facet of yourself and the earth human experience changes. And it can be quite daunting because you think things are being ripped away from you, but you're being rebuilt in your own way that God sees you, that you're an aspect of it, a cell of that intelligence in a different light. So what we thought we know or we think we know, all these things go out the window and we're rebuilt, we're opening up. But if it doesn't have that criteria, I say to people, just be aware. It could be trickster intelligence. It also, and I'm open to this because I've experienced it, you may not be evolved enough to actually understand the fruit, so you think there's no fruit because your consciousness in the human aspect this time in the avatar, it's just not there to understand that it could be a very advanced, complex, yet simplistic thing. But just so we could say woo woo, getting back to that, of a transfer of information or revelation. So, what's your experience with this type of thing, Aisha? Like, is there, like, because you've been doing this yourself, what would you like to share with people with your perspective on this?
Well, I think, yeah, I resonate with a lot of the things that you've shared. And for me, it comes down to like not having an agenda, like a personal agenda for contact. And one of the things I get asked all the time, because, I run my courses and that as well, people say to
Yeah.
me, but Isha, why? Like, what benefit will I get from it? And I think, like if I'm going to call my auntie, I'm not going to call her only because I need something. Like you build a relationship with your star family because of the love that you have, because they're our family, because they mean something to us. And then yes, if you get an Acturian download about healing or you get a technology or something that's great, like sometimes your auntie might teach you a recipe, but sometimes you just go and hang out with your auntie. And so I think there's a level of unconditional love that I think we need to understand as humans as to the why of contact, the real why being that, and I think you mentioned this beautifully, is that we're all part of that God source consciousness and we're just getting to know each other. We're getting to know who we are and we're getting to know who they are. And let's not have any agenda for that. Maybe love can just be enough.
I think that's an amazing terminology that you use because it is something that, hey, you're going to ring up a family member. You're really going to ring them up every time just to get something, or you just want to check in. And this is, we could say, extragalactic or transdimensional relations we're talking about
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
which can
exactly.
sound completely off the wall. I get that for some people, but that's really what it is. And I think from my experience, we lose ourselves to refine ourselves within that one consciousness. But this is all part of our relationship building because there's a beautiful family out there that's waiting to reunite and will be guides once we're at that stage to a lot of other civilizations to help uplift them and assist them in a way like an older sibling or really a parent. That, like I say, there's the analogy I use of there's a day that you're going to have to let your child who's riding a bike with training wheels ride with one wheel, and then eventually you'll take the two training wheels off and it's only got two wheels. Now, good chance that child is going to crash that bike. Unfortunately, it's not that you want that to happen, but they've got to learn to be on those two wheels. And as the parent, it can be quite hurtful or daunting because you don't want them to get hurt. But how are they going to ride on those two wheels unless there's a period where you've given them the best teachings that you can and advice? You don't control them. You give them that advice, and just hopefully that's enough for them to steer the ship in what we call life in a beneficial manner for themselves and others. And it's really what we could say we're going through partly, as well as what we'll be assisting other civilizations with.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And I think it is that constant evolution. Some people maybe it's a bit more digestible to think about angels before they think about ETs, but it's a similar concept, right? Like we've got our angelic guides who are guiding us and we've got our galactic guides who are guiding us, and it's beautiful to think that one day that role might reverse and we will be the guides, we will be the helpers. But I think we have a way to go before we get there
Yeah.
because our civilization is not quite at that level, but it's hopeful to me. That vision is hopeful for me.
Well, we're definitely in training because my saying is we're all guides to each other here in physical form. So we're in that training phase of that. And we make mistakes. And like I say, not all these beings have the answers either. They can be wrong. They're going through their own evolution, but they've got a broader scope that they're coming from. And that's where, just like a parent, you could take their advice or not, but at the least, we need to be open to it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Oh, Pete, it's been so good having you on here. Is there anything else you wish to share before we jump off?
No, just look, all I want is people to follow the heart with any of this. There is stuff on my website, and of course, look at your stuff as well. But there's meditations that we've done here that are up on YouTube. There is a lot of tips and tools on the website that's available for free. But the main thing is that people just do this in a safe manner, and just come from the heart. That's absolutely the key with it. I'll just tell you one story quickly because it's pretty funny. But I mentioned James Gilliland before. Now, I don't know if it was the late 90s or early 2000s. There's still a show around called Coast to Coast AM, and I've been on it before. Have you been? You've
Yeah,
been,
yeah, with George
So-
Newry, yeah.
Yeah, so James was on that with Art Bell years ago. And they actually initiated contact over the airwaves when there was, I think, 20 plus million listeners a night at that
Oh
time.
my God, when was that? I
That
haven't
was the,
heard that.
like, well, you can look it up online. It's around. And James did a few with Art Bell.
Mhm.
And basically, the quick, easy way that James does it is you connect with the heart, think of a loving, joyous memory, and you attach that with contact.
Mhm.
Now, why I say this is funny is what happened next was the phone lines and everything shut down. There were sightings all over America. And it was the first time it was ever done on this scale. But what even intrigued me in years later, because I've always been somebody that does heart breathing, and it sounds like something similar that you guys were talking about before as well. When I came across heart math with the science, I've even got the device here and what have you. Not only that, we look back at different yogis and teachers. How many of these spiritual teachers all talk about just connecting with the heart
Mm.
or just, focus on the heart? And that's all you need to do. When anything's going on, whether it's anxiety or you need help with excitement or you want to sort of just be present, that heart space is really important. And that's just an example of what James did. It was a simple technique with Art Bell. Connect with the heart, think of a loving, joyous memory, and attach that to contact. And don't overcomplicate it. You can go further and further, sort of like we did then. It's not needed, but it's a really good sort of introductory for people with what I'm doing and you're doing to sort of just give them so many vast array of different tools for them to just work out what feels right and what feels applicable to them. But that's the main thing, is that just people follow their heart. And yeah, Isha and the whole team, just thank you for everything that you guys are doing in assisting humanity.
Beautiful, and thank you. People should definitely come check out your Jaya Sanctuary. I know as we go into the summer season in Australia, you guys will have some more events and stuff. Do you have anything upcoming that you'd like to tell us about?
Yeah, I'll actually be in ECETI in Washington State next week. I think I'll be up for the coming 4th of July. I'll be doing some stuff there, and then I'll be back here from August onwards with events going into summer. And we'll get you here sometime as well, which we've talked about and work
Yeah.
out on all that as well. But yeah, there's a lot going on, but they can keep up to date at petermaxwellslattery.com or jayasanctuary.com as well.
Amazing, fantastic. Thank you so much, Pete. Always a pleasure to have you, and we'd love to see you again sometime.
Likewise, likewise. Thank you for having me. Many blessings.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Oh, Andy, how amazing has this summit been?
Oh my God.
I feel like I'm really, really blissed out from that last meditation.